Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Comic Nerd. And today we have some big time news when it comes to the future projects of the DC universe. We have an update on Lanterns. We also have an update on Clayface as to when that takes place within the DCU. And we're going to talk a little CCXP this weekend as well. But first, if you are new to the channel, you already know what to do. Leave a like, subscribe, turn that bell on, as we do our best to post on this channel every single day. We are on the road to Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars, everything in Marvel, Star Wars, DC, pop culture. So if you are into all of that, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. So that is the number one way you can support us here at the channel. And without further ado, let us go ahead and talk about these DCU updates that we have. So, for starters, yesterday a new clip of Green Lantern released, and we also saw the Green Lantern ring that will be used in the show. We've already seen Hal Jordan, or not Hal Jordan's character, but we've already seen a character use the Lantern ring in Superman, and I cannot wait to see what they take this ring further with. I'm very curious on this ring's backstory, and I'm very curious on how Hal Jordan and, of course, Aaron Pierre's character get the ring in this show. So, very much looking forward to that as we do get another look at the ring. Looks pretty much the same, straight out of a comic book, and I cannot wait for Lanterns, which is going to debut in August on HBO Max. They confirmed us even more this week by releasing that teaser. So again, that has been confirmed as Lanterns is going to release on HBO Max, of course, in August. Up next, of course, before we begin, the Supergirl poster and marketing has begun at CCXP, as right now it's just posters for the film, but I'd expect some more big updates by the end of next week. Of course, I would expect, we talked about it in our little CCXP preview earlier today, but I would expect some sort of footage from Supergirl, as that is the next film on the DC slate. So again, I'd expect something when it comes to Supergirl, most likely going to be either a trailer, maybe a full final trailer, or maybe just some special looks at the film. But regardless, I would expect them to show some Supergirl footage at CCXP. Now, on to the big news of today's video, as James Gunn on Instagram did say that Matt Reeves is producing Clayface with him and Peter Safran, while also staying on to help produce Dynamic Duo in the DCU as well. This is big because it means that they are keeping Reeves on and possibly could hint at him directing the next Batman film. However, I am going to say that is a rumor just for now. I think they have already announced the director for Batman Brave and the Bold. However, I could be mistaken for that, but I know they've talked about it. I know that they have had talks with Reeves coming back, of course, to direct that Batman film. Maybe that is possible here, but again, we have to wait and see on the success of the Batman Part 2, and I have no doubt that the Batman Part 2 is going to be a successful film. The first one absolutely crushed numbers, box office numbers at the box office when it released a few years ago. Now it's Batman 2. They're building even more on the story, and ultimately I think it is also going to be crushing numbers as well in the box office. We're just going to have to wait and see if they do in fact keep Reeves on for, of course, the next Batman movie. Maybe they even bring in Clayface, which is the final updates that we have. Another, of course, update that we have is James Gunn on Instagram was asked if this is the same Clayface from Creature Commandos, and he actually liked the post, hinting at the character's connection, as we know certain characters are already going to go in and out of live animation and action. So, again, James Gunn has said this in his, of course, little 6-minute video that he did talking about Chapter 1, which was Gods and Monsters. He said that some specific characters are going to go out of animation and live action. Looks like Clayface is going to be one of those because he pretty much just pointed up at some guy's explanation for that. And it is going to be the same Clayface from Creature Commandos Season 1. I'm very curious to see if Clayface is going to be in Creature Commandos Season 2, because they are going to build off of that even more. We got Batman in the first season. Maybe we get some more DCU kind of animation, of course, cameos there. However, with that being said, Creature Commandos, the same Clayface from that show, is the Clayface that we are getting in the DCU, and ultimately it makes a lot of sense for the connection. And speaking of the connection, the final update that we have about the DCU is the timeline. Yesterday, James Gunn on Instagram was asked when, of course, Clayface takes place within the DCU timeline, and he said that it takes place before Superman, as it's the first film out of chronological order, confirming it'll happen before we even see Superman on screen for the first time. So, if you thought Superman was the earliest movie that they are doing in the DCU, you would be mistaken, because, again, Clayface is actually the earliest movie that they are doing, setting up a villain earlier on in this film, or in this DCU, for Batman and possibly Superman to go after. I think makes a lot of sense. Of course, we will see how that transpires in this film, in Clayface, but again, Clayface is the first chronological movie out of its timeline in the DCU. It is going to go first, then it is Superman, then Creature Commandos, then Supergirl. So that is the full official timeline for the DCU. But yeah, those are the big updates that we got in the world of DC Studios, as James Gunn and Peter Safran are hard at work trying to build the universe back to the glory that it deserves and answering a few questions that we have. So there you have it. Those are the updates for the DCU timeline. Let me know what you thought of the video in the comments down below. How excited are you for the future of the DCU? How excited are you for Clayface? Clayface is one of those movies where I'm kind of iffy on right now. It looks really creepy, and I cannot wait for it. But I do have its doubts a little bit. So I'm curious to see how that's going to fit in the DCU timeline. Maybe Matt Reeves is, of course, coming back on to produce the Batman film. We shall see. But let me know what you thought of this news in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn that bell on, as we do our best to post on this channel every single day. Of course, tomorrow, like I said, we will have a big-time announcement for the channel, so stay tuned for that, of course, as next week should be fun. Hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.